Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which, is whatever we're feeling. And sometimes it's melancholy, and sometimes it's joyful, and sometimes it's lethargic, and sometimes it's absolutely gleeful. And at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Also,
Hey.
thirsty.
Yes, it's joyful, joyful, Lord, we adore thee.
Uh,
God of glory, Lord of love.
mm-hmm.
Hearts
Hearts unfold like flowers before thee.
until thee as the Son of God, or Son
Uh-huh.
above. I'm not sure which one it is.
I thought it was above, yeah, but son above.
Mhm,
But you're right. Son above also doesn't make as much sense as son of God.
Who knows which one it is?
But I thought it was son above
Mhm.
too.
It might
They,
be.
son above,
Mhm,
son of God.
mhm.
Okay.
So today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé season 10, episode 9.
No. Yeah. I.
I'm
Is it
pretty sure it's
in your thing? We'll look right now.
I mean,
I.
let's
Uh,
just see what's
okay.
let me
God.
just let me
Is it? Is
just
it?
let me just check. Let me just check. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And you could be absolutely correct because you're the one who does this. So who am I? Okay? Who am I to step in and say that this is incorrect? And
Oh,
I
I
will
got this
eat
also from
my
the.
words. I will eat my words.
Well, it has to be this
90 Day
because I got it
Fiance.
from from the
Yep,
email.
you are right. No, you didn't
Okay.
get anything from an email. You got it from the actual show that we watched on Sunday.
I got this information
It from
from.
the show that we watched on Sunday.
Yes, of course, but I also get a little email just of the titles and the
Yeah.
up. Yeah, that's
Oh,
all I get. An email from the.
because you
Yeah, no,
subscribed.
TV guide listings every day.
Yes.
I get all the
Yes.
TV guide
Okay.
listings. God, what don't you don't have to give away all my secrets, but I'm a TV guide. Stand to the end. Wah.
Okay. You know what it is? When I uploaded it to Spotify, I put the wrong one for the last episode that I too watched on TV. So that's what happened.
Hmm. Anyway, so listen, here we are. It's
Finish,
Speak
say
Now.
the episode again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just pretend none of that happened, if possible. I mean, if someone's editing this, let's do us a favor. Okay, so hi, welcome to 90 Day Fiance Season 10, Episode 7. This is called Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace. I'm going to tell you this right now that today I learned, TIL, that it's Forever Hold Your Peace, PEACE, meaning hold the peace within yourself, to not say anything, hold a certain amount of like calm and peace within yourself. And I thought it was speak now or forever hold your peace, PIECE, meaning piece of information or piece of business that you shouldn't share. Which, I mean, isn't that interesting?
That's so interesting.
Okay, great.
That's like, I'm glad that you
Riveting.
realized that. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to edit a title. I'll figure it out afterwards. Okay, anyways, so we're here. We're excited to be here doing this. And let's jump right into let's jump right into that first couple.
Why not? Why not? This is going so well. Why would we leave this? But I mean, why would we stop the train? Okay, so we are excited to talk about this episode, which we watched. Do we sound like we're like AI like people that just killed someone and have to be like suddenly put in a podcast situation? Why aren't we're not doing things right? But here we are. Jasmine and Gino, and we are hot on the scene of scenes, baby boo, which is, believe it or not, another dramatic occurrence has curtailed their love and thrown Jasmine into a spiral of noise. Can you believe it? And Gino can do nothing but blink and twitch. Who would have thunk we would have seen this again? Wow.
I mean, you guys, I
Mm-hmm.
just can't deal with it. She is upset all the time.
Yes, she is.
All the time. And I
Yeah.
just all the time, Chris.
It's not a life.
It's like, how do you get through life with those ups and downs? She's like crying. The producers have to step out of themselves and be like, "Hey, Gino, what's going on?" He's like, "I don't know. She's crazy. She's over here freezing." And then finally,
She's
they get
freezing her fake ass off. I mean,
yeah.
she's freezing her fake ass off.
She's like, "I want to go back to Panama," because she's so cold. And then he gets to her and she like leans on him and he's like, "You want to get in the car?" So he takes her to the car. She gets in and sits down and he doesn't close her door. She has to reach over and close the door herself. He just gets her in the car. He opens the door for her. She sits in it and he just walks away. And I was like, "Oh, pobrosita." Oh.
She gives us a performance this episode. Now, this is a fun, this is kind of a fun one. Now, what we're going to be led into in the next scene is so obviously orchestrated by the producers that I can't even know how I'm going to deal with the next part of the season. But let me just get in there. So obviously, the producer breaks the fourth wall, asks Gino, "What's up?" He's like, "I don't know. Jasmine got so upset." No, that's not a good Gino voice, but just pretend that, while I was talking. And she's boohooing by like a concrete wall. It is absolutely comical to watch her deal with the elements. I mean, it is good. Like, that's great TV. Like, it is looks like she's in the middle of a hurricane, honey. And I mean, literally and figuratively. And she said it before, and it is like, this is like, as a student of the theater, this is fun for me to watch because I always love like Tennessee Williams or any sort of like playwright that's like storms were on the horizon. You're like, well, I know that some mental illness is happening too. Like it's always the same kind of thing. And she as well. So she gives me that kind of like grandiose theatrical character.
Yes.
But she's
it's
like,
too
"You're
much.
dead, you're dead, you're dead. Why are you doing this to me? Everyone always abandons me." And then we get the like very sad story about how am I to ever think that I can be loved by a man because my dad abandoned me? And here's the thing. Now, truthfully, that's a whole ass abandonment issue is a whole ass thing.
Mhm.
It's a lovely thing to become an adult and be like, God, there's so many issues to deal with, like you and your loved ones. There's abandonment issues, there's like insecurity issues, there's emotional attachment issues, there's communication issues, there's sexual issues, like there's financial issues, there's just like all of the issues or whatever. But you know she really makes a case for why she reacts the way that she does. But the truth of the matter is, it is absolutely jarring for her to like go from that to like kind of being like, "I want to go back to Panama. Yes, book me a flight. I cannot be here anymore." To being like, "Oh, okay, I'll just clean the
Yeah.
house and I'll start doing exercise with bands." You're like, "Oh, you're just gonna start squatting for like 2 seconds with a band? Okay, and you're gonna start vacuuming now? Oh." And then of course it's the same thing where she like goes home and then it all, happens again. "Look what I found! This dumb napkin of your ex-wife, and when you once were trying to learn Spanish, but the only word you would learn is bitches." Like, it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. There's never like a lot of great moments where you're like, boy, are they just like a connected soul couple,
Yeah. It's a lot of it's this, but then it's like this, and then it comes up and it's this again. It's a weird line.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you on the podcast who can't see what I'm doing, it's like I'm up here. I'm up here, and
she's
then I
doing
dip,
hands. Uh-huh.
and then I come up again, up,
Yes.
up, dip, down, up again, and it's. I want it to be down here and then up, a peak, and then come back down again. It's just a weird way of doing it. We had go ahead.
Well, honestly, when she's doing Gino and Jasmine, she's never truly going all the way up. She's doing a mid-level, and her mid-level, which is supposed to be the high, is also shaky. So she's literally like, the good is really a status quo that's shaky, and then it goes horrible, and then it goes back to a status quo that's shaky. I just feel like I wanted to, make sure that was like, they got it.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you for that punctuation. Thank you. It was needed.
Mute
So
mute myself.
it's kind of like for those, this is the real California reference, but for those of you who know Knott's Berry Farm, it's Ghost Rider. It's that roller coaster where it's made from wood and it's the same roller coaster from like 1952. And you feel like it's too dangerous for people to be on because now we make roller coasters out of metal.
Mm-hmm.
And so half of the thrill is that you're on a very old-fashioned roller coaster, and part of the fright is the fact that you can hear the wood creaking. It's that. So she starts to clean up his home, and he has decided that he's not getting rid of any of his knickknack paddywhacks. Okay. And so she's finding all of these items in his home, and she confronts him on it, and he completely shuts down as normal and is like, "You have no reason to be mad at me. I haven't gone through all those things. I don't know what that is." And she's like, "Well, then you wouldn't mind if I rip it up?" I don't know. She says, "Then you don't care about it?" And he's like, "No." And she proceeds to rip up a memento from his 40th birthday party. And I was like, that's mean. 40th was such a milestone for me. And if I had something for my 40th birthday, regardless of if it had like me and my ex and a heart like thing, I wouldn't want somebody to rip it up because it's still a memory. It's not like that part of my life didn't ever happen. And so she's now trying to take the upper hand from, when she tells him that Dane paid for half of her butt surgery. Because remember, that's still the other shoe to drop from her. So she's trying to stack all the things up
Good
against him.
call.
Yeah.
Good call.
She's trying to stack up all those
I
things
know.
against him. And so then we move on to her having a girls' day with Dana, of all people, Dana's wife, Michelle.
Yeah.
And she says Michelle is the best person, even though she hates his Michelle's husband, Dana. She's like, Michelle has been the best person to her, and she doesn't care how much this costs because he's been pissing her off. Gino has been pissing her off. So they go get their nails done. They get a little pedicure situation, and Michelle is spitting some facts while also being a good friend to good old Jasmine.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She goes and picks her colors, like their little like twofer that she got, and it was nice to have a nice scene with her, like, or at least her being like normal. It's always nice to have a normal Jasmine scene. It's like, it's shocking, but at the same time, it's necessary because the producers want Michelle to deliver this information, which is definitely not planned for this, which is that Gino, one day before Jasmine got there, had a bachelor party. And guess what they did? Did they just go play golf while?
No, there was butt bongos occurring. There was women touching him and him touching the women. And
I'm
so
sorry,
Jasmine,
I didn't know. Like when they go to the strip clubs here, like, did they touch the man? Do they, or they just like, is it just, oh, look at the pretty girls in their boobies? Yet I see it from afar, but not in my face, and I don't know what it smells like. Is it like that's what Jasmine asks Michelle, right? I one time had some guy told me that the front row of a strip club is called Sniffer's Row or something like that.
men are
Sniffer's
so
Alley, Sniffer's Row, something like that.
Sniffer's Alley sounds great. Did you ever see something on it lives rent free in my mind. It was a show, maybe it was on HBO. This is where I got all my dirties
Then I
when I was
watched Yes
younger.
and the Answers. Yes, I watched it. Yes. Do you know
Okay,
that?
so do you remember it was a light-skinned black woman with a bad wig, and she was a stripper, and she was getting eaten out on stage when she was on a stripper pole as she was like doing some like leg work, and she was telling people, she was like, women sleep with men for free all the time. Why shouldn't I get paid for it? And then one of the guys who was like licking the labias, he was like, yeah, this is what I pay for, and he was sitting in the front row.
Okay, there was an HBO show about strippers. It was like a reality show about
Yes.
strippers.
Yeah.
And it had like literally neon. I feel like the graphics were like black, of course, just like dark, and then like neon, like pink and like like blue, like maybe is what I feel like. It was like neon lighting, kind of like late night live nude girl style aesthetic of the credits. Does that sound right? I also can even tell you, I feel like it had a hot theme song, and I cannot remember what it was called. It's obviously
No.
not Cat House. It was like it was obviously like Cat House is a seminal series. it's like it's either before or around the same time as the first couple of seasons of Cat House, right?
No, I don't know. Do you remember us talking about We Wonder from Cat House where Isabel is?
Well, yeah, I've
The
done
like
deep just I've done a deep
Oh,
research.
okay.
Like about 10 years ago, I did a deep research and she had married some guy and was like in the Pacific, I think Northwest, like farming or like doing farmers market shit, like had done a full 180,
Um,
like and then had
um,
scrubbed herself from the internet. Absolutely. And I mean,
uh,
yeah,
I mean,
no,
smart. Her thing was like Italian girl next door. That was her like
I know it.
shit. And then like Air Force Amy being super jealous of all the new girls that Dennis would get with, and then being
Yep.
like high on cocaine.
Yep.
Hmm. Okay. Anyways, so yeah. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Do you remember when Jasmine was showing Coco the pictures of the ex's dog and
Yes, like
Coco?
yes. And
Why
being
did
like,
they
"Oh,
blur out?
Coco."
Why
The
did
other
they
dog?
blur out the other dog? Why did they blur
Because
out the?
because
Did he get
because the
permission?
only person that could give that dog's
I didn't know.
picture thing
I
is
didn't know.
his ex-wife. That's
I
the
didn't know
ex-wife's
dogs could have
child.
permission. I didn't know I didn't know they needed permission to show
Show
people's dogs.
a person's baby on the streets. I mean, no, you can't just show a person's dog on the TV, like you could show a person's baby on the streets. You could show me on the streets. I'm your baby tonight. Anyway, God bless. Yeah, no, she can't do it, honey. They couldn't do it. She'll sue. But yeah, that was also crazy to see where Jasmine's like, oh, Coco, do you think I'm prettier than her? Oh, you do, Coco. Thank you so much, Coco. Oh, Coco, I love you so much. I'll get you Coco therapy. Why am I so crazy, Coco? Why do you have to watch it, Coco? I'm so sorry, Coco. Just like, oh, babe, what is that dog seen? What has that dog heard? And the dog has been here like, I think only like 6 months, but God bless. Yeah, so she gets to get mad at him for that next
It's so
episode.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, can I start the next couple? Because I
Yeah.
want to talk to you about Sophie and Rob. The only thing I can really care about them is that I need you to know that Sophie and Rob starts and their segment starts with like scenes about LA, and one of the scenes about LA is a pupusa restaurant. And I need
Pupusaria?
you to know, yeah. And I need you to know that Wah
Mm.
loves a pupusa
Mhm.
and I can't stop saying it.
Mhm.
Pupusa. It
Delicious.
sounds like it obviously it's a food, but like also want like an
Mm.
older lady to
Pupusa.
like just like I want an older lady to like touch my head and play with my hair and call me papusa. Like a grandma.
Oh.
Is that weird? Like I want like it feels like someone would be like papusa, papusa, and I'd be like, oh,
Oh.
that's me.
Oh, bendita mi pupusa.
Yeah, and
No,
I'd be
I
like,
mean, to me, this sounds way more sexual than that. So I can't. Mm-mm. It's not a grandma.
Papusa sounds sexual to you?
Yeah, definitely. It could be a hot ass young Theo who's like, hey, mi amor, hey, bella, let me touch your pupusa. Ooh.
Do you think Manuel would be like, tell Ashley that that's what's happening between her legs
Uh-huh.
is a papoose?
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Mi negrita pupusi titi titata. That was too much, but you get what I'm saying.
I didn't know if you were gonna go on to other. I was like, is she saying more things now? But yeah, obviously Sophie and Robert, boring, boring, boring. We don't want to fucking talk about it. But I will tell you this: that one thing on the internet is that Rob was on the new Love Connection they tried to do a couple years ago. So he has been trying to like make some money on these TV streets. But basically Sophie really wants us to believe that she has rented a place for some reason. And she's like, well, the place I rented. I don't want him to come. I need him to come to the place I rented. This is the place I rented. What am I doing now? I'm just renting a place and I don't have to leave. I was like, okay, well, the
Airbnb.
producers put you up. Yeah, it's like not the biggest thing that you just like got this. And by the way, it is really cute. This place is so much,
Yes.
it's adorable.
Why don't you just stay there? Tell him to move, and he will stay there for the remainder of the time you're filming.
I can't imagine in a world that, yeah, like none of that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, then she gets a I miss you text and he gets to say his piece again because she doesn't obviously does not want to go home, which is the obvious. Like, again, she easily could go home and she's supposed to be living the lap of luxury in London anyway, but she won't go back to the lap of luxury in London for some reason. She instead, it's a complete option for her to stay, be degraded, and be like cheated on by some loser guy, which I guess is her option that is going to happen for her. So yeah, he comes over. He basically does nothing except talk to her. And then everything is always like, what am I supposed to do, Robin? What am I supposed to do now? I just don't know what to do. And it's like, it's such a weird place of her. And it's like, well, you're 20 nothing. No one knows what they're supposed to do, but they just do it by themselves. They don't have to like, she acts like a 1950s like housewife. Like she has no backbone to her. It seems like her want is really just to be in LA, maybe be an Instagram influencer, and she just can't say that. So she's pretending to be truly obsessed with someone who there's no reason to be obsessed with him. Yes, he has hot eyes, but it can't be the end all be all. What?
Yeah, we found out last episode that the reason why he didn't go to London is because he didn't want to. Like that's the reason why. Like the mom said it was like, the reason you're there is because he didn't come to you. And also his apology is wild. His is like, I'm really sorry. And she's like, you've done this before. You've online cheated before. And it took me nearly a year to forgive you, but I don't have a year this time. And he's like, I already said I'm sorry, okay? I already said I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about that? And she's like, Rob, what I'm saying is, I'm like, fucker, you should be on your knees right now. The fact that you didn't have the audacity to say, can we move on from this? I already said I'm sorry, is like wild. His tone was just wild in that whole conversation. And she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna give it another chance and I'll try, but it's gonna be very hard. And he's like, you keep talking about what I did before and I already said I'm sorry, so I can't keep saying I'm sorry. And I'm like, what is it about him that makes her want to be with him? She keeps saying that it's not what she wants, but yet she's still giving into it. So it is what you want. And so I don't want to watch them anymore. I think they're stupid. You want to move on?
Oof. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we do want to move on too. Great.
Okay, Nikki and Justin. So Nikki and Justin. All right, so we see them in a bazaar, like the Turkish one.
Yeah, I wrote this down. It says bazaar, but I meant to bazaar. Sorry, my spelling mistake.
Bazaar, as a friend, my Nigerian coworker once said. Oh, I saw it in Hapa's bazaar, and we didn't know what she was saying. It was so funny. Hapa's bazaar. We were like, Hapa bazaar. Hapa's bazaar. She's like, yes, you know the magazine, Hapa's bazaar. And we're like, oh, Harper's Bazaar. Anywho.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. So they go to the bazaar to look for clothes for her. And she is just so just rejecting of the fact that she has to dress conservative. And they just went there to have this scene because the truth is she brought an outfit that she could wear. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, in no realm of world would she wear those things. And it's very interesting, the garments, the textures, the fabrics, the styles, like yeah,
Santee Alley. It was Santee Alley is what it was.
Yeah. It was not Sniffer's Alley, as I already talked about earlier this episode. So anyway,
do you remember when I went to Santee Alley on that date? And I went to
yes.
Okay, yeah. I went to Santee Alley on that day and I bought those turquoise high-waisted underwear that had the zipper in the front so that I could put my money in it.
Yes. That's crazy.
I bought some high-waisted, like straight up immigrant granny panties. Okay. My grandmother would have loved these high-waisted tummy tucking panties.
Control top or
control top. In the top, there was a little zipper where you could like put your folded bills into. And I bought them because this man took me to Santee Alley on this date, which obviously I ended up ending it. And he was so shocked.
Well, yeah, he thought he was going to see those panties, honey. Now, why did you buy the panty? Like, and what did you put in? Like, I would put one little condom in there, but what did you put in that little zipper?
I never really wore them because low-rise G-strings were my thing at the time, but it was so funny. Now I would love them because I am get all the way below the titty. I am an all the way below the titty underwear wearer now, and I would definitely put money in it. I mean, but I'm not that person anymore. Like, I'm not the person. Like, if I were to go like abroad, oh yeah, I put money in it for sure.
Yeah, I get it. I use my pocket that is between my two boobies all the time. That's nature's pocket. So, let me tell you, yeah, she's not into it. He's like, okay, again, it's like a moot point because as Waz says, she's like, well, I have another outfit for you anyway, and it's fine. And they definitely had to waste some poor shop girl's time being like, what do you think? Is this too sexy, too modest? And the girl's like, I don't. You're not gonna buy anything. What a waste of my fucking breath. Anyway, so then Nikki changes into an outfit that is definitely more modest, like, and has a little like cami underneath to Justin's delight. He likes the outfit a lot, and but it's always them fighting in the car and fighting there or fighting in the confessionals over whether he's gonna fuck her or blah blah blah, blah, how much he's given to her or what he's given to her or what she's given to him. But I'll give you this that he tries to talk about like I want Nikki to not show so much boots. It's boots? Boobs?
Boop.
So, boobs. Yeah, one thing about Justin slash Igor is that he's been using that Duolingo, honey. He has been on the Duolingo and he is learning his English. And it's like he's been on for, I mean, a long time, a lot of days. Now, Juan and I have a friend named Chris Nicola who's been learning French for what seems like 14 years to the point where
Yeah.
like our friend Kristen should absolutely be like running France by this point. But I don't even know if she can even string a sentence together. I don't know if that Duolingo actually translates in the real world.
He's
What else?
been doing it for like 800 days, which is 2 years and like some odd days. Kristen did it for a full year, I think 2 years ago. So maybe she's on a streak of like more than 365 days or yeah, whatever by now. And I was like, "Ooh, do you?" And whatever she's like, no." so so yeah, it doesn't really make you as fluent as you would think it would, as you might think it would. But like I don't really understand what they're fighting about. She just wants more affection and he's just really nervous about this entire situation, right? It just feels like he is now with a woman that he knows is trans and that he has come out to his entire family about her transness. So he is doing something that uh uh now with not without the rose colored glasses or without his ignorance, and it's not the same for her, and she wants him to just be better about how he's acting because she's given him all this money since, and so he should be better. That's how it feels, or that's what I'm understanding. But she does have the very real and tangible feeling of, I just want to feel like a normal girl, and I am a normal girl, and he wasn't like this the last time, and I need him to get acclimated faster, which is her right
Absolutely.
to feel. But it's also his right to feel the way he does. And if the way he is feeling is not okay with her, then I think they need to separate. And then they
Oh,
need to get on
true.
before the 90 days because this is not the right show for them.
This is all correct. And then also as a trans, I mean, I think I as a trans ally, I want to be like it's hard because a lot of this whole obviously this couple's hard for a lot of reasons, but he uses the word normal woman a lot, like to talk about how she's looking, how people perceive her in Moldova, what she is in comparison to what is typical Moldovan, and he's using the word normal all the time, which is problematic for lots of reasons. A, because sometimes he's just talking about the way she looks not normal for Moldovan women, regardless of her like gender. I mean,
Yeah,
regardless of her being
transness.
trans. But and also he doesn't know English, so in order to like correct him politically is very hard to be like, oh, I'm sorry, can't say normal. Can you say something else? Like it's like because you would never say that to a person. You would never be like, I want you to look like a normal woman. You would never say that. But this is a trans woman, and the man that she's chosen to be on TV with, he is ESL, English is not his, or a third language. He probably has a couple in there. He is problematic in his own way, and it's hard to watch him and hear him say those words and then have to watch her deal with it. My heart goes out to her in these moments, because it's incredibly awkward, and also it would be triggering already for her, and she has to like play them out. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of boring. I mean, it's like a transitional thing for them. It was, yeah, we didn't need all
And
the
and it's like they didn't even get to the parents' house. So
exactly,
it's like half of it was just them arguing in the car.
exactly. Okay, shall we move on to Clayton and Anna Lee? Wow. Well, honey, it's the morning after that panda, the panda threesome. It was interesting to hear from Clayton that they usually have a healthy sex life. Right, Wa?
Yes, which makes me think it's a lie.
Wait.
It's a lie.
Yeah,
It's a lie.
yeah. Right. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? To me, it meant like, okay, so he meant that they've slept together twice. Once she was completely drunk, and the second time was the night before he left, and she gave him a hand job. Like, I felt like he was only saying it to be like, oh no, we've totally had sex. So like, this is weird because we've had sex, which is, it is weird. And like, she obviously, that would be weird. If you've already had sex and you're already in love and you're already there to be like a fiance, it doesn't bode well to be like, I don't want to touch you. Just, I don't want anything to do with just you be there and I'm here. Like,
mm-hmm.
there's obviously reasons why that might happen. We've seen them on the show before, but like there was no need for that to happen, in the sense that she wasn't like, well, I'm a Christian, me being a good Christian woman this whole time. He's like, okay, well, great. You slept well. Good. You have to go. She's like, I want to go shower. He's like, well, let me just check the bathroom for mom, which
Why
if
can't
you, what?
never mind.
Why can't she? Or
yeah. Like what why? Why do you need to check? Do we not both have knocking fingers?
I like to think that what he thinks is that she would just like not knock and walk in, and then his mom would be there absolutely fucking naked, because his mom also doesn't like lock a door. Maybe she'd be like, oh, Clay, oh, like who knows? I know.
Would she be like, Clayton, and then start to turn Clayton? Clayton, is that you, boy?
Yeah.
Like, ass out.
Yeah, ass out, honey. Just like
titties hanging.
I mean, a swan. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So he, he's always, it's so funny because he's always telling her she's beautiful. Your hair is so pretty. You're so beautiful. My bonita, perdida, bonita, linda, like always just telling her how pretty she is. And all she's doing is being like, oh, pequeño hombre. Oh, the smallest little pequeño hombre. Poquito bonito. That's what I call you. It's like he's always telling her how pretty she is. She's always saying how small he is. They go horse riding, which I guess is supposed to be like him showing off Kentucky. He's going to show off Kentucky's finest, which is bourbon and horsies. And he's like, yeah, Kentucky, the capital and home of horses. She's like, they have horses fucking everywhere, like at my grandpa's house. So it's not a big deal. You don't own horses here, like you weird white person. Like horses be everywhere,
I also was, because I'm spoiled with not spoiled with 90 Day. I am jaded with 90 Day Fiancé, or I am traumatized with 90 Day Fiancé. I fully expected Anna Lee, even though I know that she does not care about Clayton. And by the way, for some reason, every time I hear the name Clayton, I think of Tarzan, which is like Clayton, because you remember Tarzan with Clayton and the shooting of the gun. Okay, great. Anyways, so I expected Anna Lee to be mad at the lady who was giving the horseback riding lessons. I expected Anna Lee to be mad and be like, why are you talking to Clayton that way? You see how she's flirting with you? Just like, because isn't the poor person supposed to be like talked? I don't know. Anyways, so they have a conversation afterwards about her telling her family, and Anna Lee is like, I'm not telling my family. That is not how I roll, and I will leave. Like, basically, like, you're not going to give me any kind of ultimatum. I make the decisions here. Who are you? You're no one.
Absolutely. I mean, across the board, Don't ever be with someone who thinks it's okay to not share you or tell people about you.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it means is that that person has absolutely no care of how you feel in this relationship. She does not care. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care that it makes him feel bad or that it makes him feel like she's not into him. Like she does not, she has no empathy for him at all. And when you love someone, you are able to have a little empathy of how they view themselves in your relationship. Not all the time, but like a healthy one, yes. Like, like you want people to feel as comfortable and secure and connected and that you are committed to not their well-being for the sake of the relationship in itself and their well-being in the relationship. Like we all get like, yeah, but like anytime someone wants to hide it from someone, it's just so like, oh, you definitely don't give a shit about that person. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think she's a toxic weirdo, and I think that
Yeah.
she does, and I think she's right. I think that she's right. Those glasses look horrible on her.
Mm-hmm.
She fucking does look like a granny.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that Clayton has this sister, because
Mm-hmm.
this sister comes in where the mom can't do anything to be like, no, this is what the fuck it is. Like, I don't understand.
Yep.
I'm and I also love it because it really goes to show you that Annalie has no desire to impress anyone. Definitely
None.
not Clayton. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely not Clayton's mom, but no one in this right world needs to impress that woman. Haram. But
Yeah.
like, definitely Clayton's overbearing sister
Mm-hmm.
is not, and even with her like aggressive energy, Annalie couldn't give a fuck about.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So the fact that she doesn't care about your family or impressing them or anything, that's a red flag. She'll never fit into that family. That's the family she's going to fit into. And I feel like she's ripe to pulling Clayton away. So the sister better dig her heels in early and fast with a quickness, which is what
Hmm.
she did. So they go to have bourbon, which looks fantastic, run by these two black people who I would like to go have bourbon there. And so you know, the sister is like, why am I not seeing, social media pictures of Clayton? And she explains that the dad is overprotective and that he thinks she's there for work. And like, what about the visa? Well, I don't have to use you for a visa. I left my family and friends. I don't need to be here for that. And then Clayton's like, well, she wouldn't do that. And the sister's like, absolutely, she would. What are you talking about?
The logic that this is doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
how do I know that she's not using you for a visa? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not using it for a visa because you see, I had to leave my family.
Hmm. What?
Yeah, no, uh-huh.
That's what happens. Yeah. No,
Yep.
she's a
So
scammer.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
so yeah, and she's a scammer and she's not even having to work that hard, which is
Yeah.
I think the saddest part. Like s- maybe
Yeah.
some sorry, yeah.
Yeah. She's a scammer and she doesn't like him. And the mother's just sitting there having to take it. And Clayton's a fool. And the sister gets so upset that she cries and walks away because she realizes this is happening and there's literally nothing that she can do about it. So it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, the mom, like, she's like, "Mom, do you know that? Do you know that she, didn't tell her parents and they think that she's here for only work?" And mom's like, "No, I'm just finding that out too." You're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, the mom's gonna do absolutely nothing for it, so the sister knows."
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of like trauma that's gone in that family. I'm like crying, by the way, for my own. I have like a piece of like chili that's just stuck in my throat, but I also feel bad for them. Anyway, so do you want to move on?
Yes. She's crying for them, really, you guys. Don't be fooled. She's over here crying for Clayton and his family. Okay, let's move on to really quick. Devin and Jihoon. So
Jesus.
Devin and the very tanned Nick. So they are going to a traditional Korean shop to buy traditional Korean clothes. Which is so
Hamba.
funny. Yes. And because he's going to do a proposal, he's going to officially propose to her, and they're going to take pictures with a selfie stick. And the cutest thing is they're in the store and picking out outfits, and she picks up this one outfit, and he's like, no, that's for prostitutes. And she's like, ha ha ha. And he's like, no, for real, put it down, put it down. It's for prostitutes. And I was like, give me that prostitute kimono. It is so cute.
I wanted to know so many things about it. It was like a little shorter kimono. It was white and red, right? It was white, black, and red. And it looked like a cropped kimono is what it looked like.
Mhm.
And I like, yeah, it was fabulous. I mean,
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
and whatever
Fabulous.
colors they come in, and like, yeah, no, I absolutely wanted that too. And the other thing that's kind of like fun about them is that whatever she puts on her princess dress, and it is like a princess dress. I definitely thought that for these engagement photos, I didn't quite realize they were selfie engagement photos. I did sort of think maybe someone would be there to take it. I don't know, someone, but the answer was no.
Mhm.
And she is an interesting person to be on television, and I like her because she's so vastly different. She barely
Mhm.
makes a noise, this
And not
person.
a sound. She's
I
a
mean,
church mouse. Mhm.
every time he's like, "Do you wanna go?" She'll be like, you get a shot of us being like, and then off. Like, like
Yeah.
she's like, you see eyes and
Hair
hair
moving, and
wisp,
then
eyes, and then like one little like,
did he make her sign up for this show? Like,
I
who
had
made her
to.
do this? Who made her do this?
I
I
had
I
to.
also love that this is like the symbol for a heart, because this is the heart, and then these are the like ventricles, or whatever's. So I was like, this is so cute. This is such a different like perspective. And then, okay, also, did you know that like we do this for hearts, right?
Yes, we do.
But like the
Oh,
like other generation, they do like something vastly difficult. They do like, I forget what they do.
watching Patreon's getting to watch, and me
They do
figure
like
out while her fingers are just, she's like tutting. I mean, this is
they
like
do something difficult. They do like for hearts, the Gen Xers, not X, Gen. Aw,
I know it's very cute.
they do not X. What's the Gen after us? Z?
Why? Z? Then have like, is we go back
No,
to A? Is there a Gen A coming up, or Gen AA?
Alpha. It's Alpha.
Ew.
Yeah, like Ladani's Alpha.
What?
First of all, yeah, he's Alpha.
Oh, we already made the call?
So it's like Gen. So we're technically Generation Y. Wait, millennials or Y? X, Y, Z. Yeah, but we don't call ourselves. They don't call us Y. We're millennials. So Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, but Gen Y is millennials technically, and then or millennials are technically Y, and then there's Gen Z. So they do something different. We do this, and they do like something else. Something.
Yes. I love you. Yeah, I get it. No, you
No,
just
you
don't quite
don't get
know it.
it.
I mean, because you don't
I don't.
get it.
Okay,
You
I
don't get it.
don't. Great.
I
Anyway, let's move on. He ends up proposing to her, and they're happy, and they skip down a looks like a treacherous road. Okay, it's treacherous. Uh
Yeah, in that long garment, I'm like, I
yeah.
mean, that's a face plant waiting, wanting to happen, willing to happen. Ashley and Manuel. I mean, this is a great therapist they're going to. I feel like this therapist is like doing the Lord's work. Like, you see some bad therapists, you see she's still trying. Okay, so hopefully by the end of me talking about them, well, we'll get this heart. Why don't you just Google it? Okay, so Ashley and Manuel at this therapist, and basically, Ashley is like, look, he is very secretive. And he's like, I want my privacy. And she's like, I don't know what the hell is happening with his family at all times. He keeps his family very separate from me. I've never met his kids, ever met his kids. And he's like, why? You don't have to. And you wouldn't even understand them anyway. And it's kind of a little bit the thing of like Anna Lee, where Manuel isn't considering how Ashley feels, which is, I'm just what, some other woman that your kids hate as being some not known entity that is the reason why your dad isn't with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how she views what the
Yeah.
possibility could be. And Manuel doesn't get it. Manuel's like, I do this, I do that, I compartmentalize. That's it. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
Oh.
They do the middle finger together.
Oh.
Yeah, that is what they
Well,
do.
then how do you get? Oh.
Yep, that's what they do, Chris. Yep. That is exactly. I can't do it.
Well,
That
it's
is-
difficult. Okay, so and not as easy.
Yes.
It's like it's
Yes.
100% easier to do this. Like a
Yes.
1 billion% easier. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
technology agrees.
And they do.
Oh God,
They
well.
do. Yes.
This
Yes.
whole podcast could not be watching you do this, but I love you. We'll have to warm up those fingers, honey. We gotta get those fingers stretching. So yeah, basically, the therapist is going in between, like, why do you do that? And he's like, well, they wouldn't understand her, and she always, by the way, she's quick tempered. She, like, I gotta protect the kids at some point. He said something like that where you're like, oh, all right.
Yes. That's wild. He is just being an idiot. Like, he is just like, oh, women, like, so then the therapist says that it's some kind of Latino male thing where their mother needs to be all in their business, and so they learn that, so then they want to hide it from their wives. And I was like, don't put that on a whole group of people. That's not true. He is just a very specific type of secretive ass man and or person, and he would like to keep his private life with his black wife from America secret from his baby mamas, who he's probably still fucking, and his children, or his baby mama, who he's probably still fucking, and his kids. He's probably married in Ecuador, or he's probably still or never was married but probably still with her, or whatever. Like, we don't I'm not putting anything past Manuel to want his cake and eat it too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And similar thing coming up now, which is that he also, Loki just promises to send 250 to his family, and he needs a 250. Now, here's the thing. He obviously can't work. So the 250 is just Ashley's money.
Mm-hmm.
He does have kids. So Ashley, here's the thing. Ashley would have to been like, well, I know that you're going to have to send money home to your kids because you have kids. And the question is, and the question always is, so Manuel just Loki, did he came to America with nothing? Nothing. So if he came to America with nothing, then it is crazy for him to expect without a conversation that she would just send money to people she's never met. And that's like that's what I think. It's like, if you want to keep them secretive, if you want to isolate and have privacy or whatever it is, I can maybe assume that that's a possibility if you are not going to have her pay them. What? This, you can't have your, I mean, I know you're like, he wants to have his cake and eat it too, but he doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see what you're saying, but the foreigner thinks that American people have money. And they just think that. I can't explain to you how they just think that. So even if, like, yes, he most likely lives paycheck to paycheck, as most foreign people do. Not most, some foreign people do. I don't want to speak for everybody. And it's completely normal and natural. Like, an idea of a savings, is foreign to some people. And so, as it is in the US as well. And because he can't work and he's a breadwinner, he might just assume that she would know that, and assume that she has money because she's American, or can get it relatively easy. And so that's a conversation, yeah, definitely, that they should have had.
And they're going to have a next episode. Did you see
Next
that?
episode, yeah.
Which I kind of can't wait for this conversation, because even though you can't make someone give you money,
yeah,
I mean, him bringing up her vet bills is LOL.
Yes. And so because he thinks of Juan Pablo, as whatever that dog's name is, Rico Suave, as being a non-important entity, he's gonna really have a problem with it, because he thinks that's a non-important entity. Like, yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So,
yeah. That's it.
All right, guys, that's it. We did it.
We did do it. We love you guys so much. We're so thankful that you have listened to us. Thank you for that. And, give us a love on the social medias if you haven't yet already. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X/Twitter. We have a Facebook group. It's called the DocuSweeties Podcast Group. Other than that, have you given us 5 stars? Have you even thought about it? You have time.
Think about it. But if you want to do more for us, if you want to support us in a bigger way, and you have the financials to do so, you can join us on Patreon. as our patron on patreon.com/docusweeties for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month, as well as the visuals of what you're listening to the moment we are done with it. And then you also get some other fun stuff, some exclusive content, and picks from us, other things. So join us there.
Yeah, a lot about us.
Yeah.
Me.
Patreon.com/docusweeties, $10 a month. All right, you guys have a fantastic one. Bye.
Bye.